Hi there, it's time to look at TAO through the Wyckoff lens again. If you're new to my analysis sessions, these are the key items I'll cover during the session. I'm not a financial advisor, these analysis videos are for education and research purpose only, and obviously to discuss with the asset tech community like yourself. So remember to hit subscribe and let's dive into the chart. This is the weekly chart. Like we talked about before, it is going through a transition from the preliminary support stage where people panic sell and whales starting to buy, slowly bit by bit, transiting into the selling climax period where the panic seemingly gets over. However, the selling climax doesn't necessarily mean it's the lowest point of the accumulation cycle. So if we look to the left, these blue tags are distribution cycles, then the orange tags are the accumulation cycle tags. So just for you if you're new to my sessions. So looking at what happened just the beginning of this year, in March 25th marked the selling climax during that cycle, and then we had the automatic rally. So that here, the spring over here, during late March to early April, marked the lower point after the selling climax. Not only I'm trying to explain to you about these tags, but there's one more important thing that happened over here. You see this red cross, right at where the selling climax was. This particular red cross, if we right, a very big drop, and then this red cross. All right, so it doesn't mean it's something exactly the same, but these kind of price actions, when they look kind of similar, it may be signaling to us that the selling climax may have arrived or soon is arriving. So what's going to confirm this is the subsequent incoming of the automatic rally. All right, so whether it's going to challenge the 254 orange key level, that's another question, or even higher, 2286. All right, very high back then. That automatic rally, wasn't too big of a climb. So this time, I'm not surprised if it ends up somewhere between the red key level of 219 and the orange key level of 254, and then come back down for more tests to differentiate the paper hands against the diamond hands. And obviously, we see what happened back in late March, early April. So don't be surprised if the price comes further down after the automatic rally, or even before, during this period, if it comes down to settle over there to actually mark the selling climax of this accumulation cycle. That's around $183, $184. That's the price range. So not only March and April, but also summer 2024, the price has gone down to that level. BitTensor, TAO, it's still a rather young coin in terms of the chart history. We don't have a full idea how deep it can go or how high it can go yet. All right, if it's an older coin, then we sort of have a better idea. Now, having this as a backdrop, assuming that TAO is getting very close to the selling climax and stepping into an automatic rally stage. These are the tags that I have marked, these dates within this downward channel. So these two light blue lines are the boundaries of the downward channel. I call them air hockey table. If you imagine a puck is bouncing between the edges of the air hockey table, that's the path it travels, right? And also there's an additional center line that does not necessarily land at 50% within the channel. Sometimes it goes more to one side, but then it gives us indication that it may bounce along that line, All right, so a brief explanation about this channel or air hockey table. Now go back to the dates. Previously, I talked about 3 potential trend change confirmation dates. The first one is December 27th, which some of you has already passed that date. For me, I'm still in the middle of this date. Currently, the bulls and the bears are clearly fighting around this. I shouldn't cut this. Let me bring this away for a while. So you see the volume isn't very high, but it's clearly trying to break outside of the box, trying to break above the red key level of $219. It has been trying this for a couple of days. Alright, it dipped lower and then the bulls pushes the price up, trying to stay above the red key level for 4 days already. And today, there seems to be a chance that it's finally going to stay above the red. There's still roughly about 5 hours left, and we'll soon find out. And what's next is the importance about what's coming for the next few days, getting to the end of the year and stepping into 2026. If it finally confirms that it has gone outside of the this downward channel, like what Bitcoin has shown us, then subsequently it may travel slightly sideways and then gain strength to the automatic rally level that I talked about just right now. All right, may it be somewhere between the orange and red key levels, or somewhere higher than the orange. So if we get into here, all right, that's what I'm talking about. So looking at what October 10th did, all right, the stash line over here, lying around the 140 price level, is a place where we don't want the price to get to, but the subsequent tests, when I talk about this, the paper hands, diamond hands testing period, may end up around. All right, it's definitely lower than the previous test period back in August 2024 and April 2025. So while you may see a price surge, no matter where it is going to landing, when it comes back down, which there is a possibility, don't be surprised. All right. So those 2 dates, January 3rd and 10th of Jan, is when the case happened that the selling climax isn't really landing here, but at a lower level instead. All right. If we look across, the red key level was where the selling climax landed. All right, for both scenarios, but later part it may come lower. And actually, even during the selling climax, back in 2024, it went all the way to test the white solid line. So while it seems to have stabilized over the past 5 days, 5-6 days, it's probably not over yet. We hope it is over. Okay, so that's for BitTensor or TAO. The volume has been coming down. That's a good sign. Even with a bigger price spread, that's seemingly signaling that the crazy selling period is over. So let's hope that's the case for TAO. And thanks for joining me. See you in other sessions. I'm heading to the speed run. See you later.